All right, hey, welcome back, knife nerds and everyday care people. It's your boy, the Big Canucker here, and we are trying out our smart mic here for the first time ever. And so what I thought I would do is I want to take this this big honkin' Police 4, and I want to do a little bit of stuff to it because I think this is a great knife, but I think it needs a little bit of Canuckerizing to it, and we'll try to take you through this journey here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to break apart the scales after we take off the clip here, because we definitely need to kind of clean up this clip and see if we can get this clip, the black paint off of it, and because I just don't think it looks very good. And then from there, we will see if we will heat anodize it, and then we'll have a look at the rest of these scales too, the rest of these pieces of hardware, and see if there's anything that we can do with those two as well, just to make them a little less shiny. And then I think I might end up just dyeing these scales purple. I seem to really like that. And then I think the other thing we'll do is we'll look at doing something with this blade here, perhaps a real good acid patina on it, or I might even just give it a little bit of a sand down just to lighten the patina on it, and then we'll take it from there. But yeah, I haven't really totally figured it out yet, but let's crack this bugger open and let's have a look at the innards, and then we'll take it from there. All right. So unfortunately, I can't read these things anymore. T6, yay! I've got my handy dandy magnifying glass here with my little light, and that can tell me what exactly I'm opening up and the like. All right, so I know these clip scales, these clip here are T6. I know this thing here was originally carried, I think, tip down, which I dislike intentionally. I like the tip up so much better. And of course, we've got a windy day here in Lethbridge. No big surprise there. I think the wind is gusting to 50 or 60 kilometers per hour, which, you know, sometimes it gives me a headache here in Lethbridge. Couple of, I guess, statistics here that you need to know. I guess you don't need to know, but a couple of statistics here about where I live is 2 inches less rainfall. It would be considered a desert. And also, we have got one of the highest per capita rates of suicide in Canada, and I think if you were a resident here, you would say it's because of the wind. There we go. There's 3 screws there, and what we'll end up doing with those is we'll end up taking those and putting them aside. Do I have a little bag here somewhere? I do not, but what I will probably do is use this bag that I keep my screwdriver in. I'll gather up all my parts and pieces afterwards and put them inside of a bag. Okay, so the rest of these screws, what do we got here? Oh, well, there's 6 too as well. So these are going to be body screws, and this will be the first time that I have ever opened up a Police 4. Now, with this stuff here, I thought the company I used to work for, we had sold a product called Graffiti Remover. And I was really looking for some here at my house because I could have swore I had some. And just to dip this in as a kind of a paint remover, because I just don't really feel like sanding. I just don't. I mean, yes, you can do it, and yes, it will get the job done. But if you can soak it and let it soften up, then all the more to you. Now, the other thing I was thinking of is, we're going to try a little experiment, will acetone for a nail polish remover soften up that paint? And, you know, if I let it sit there for a little bit. So we're going to try that little bit of an experiment, and I'll let you know how that works, acetone. And if it works, fails miserably, then I will be using elbow grease and some sandpaper to clean that paint off. But, all right. And some of this stuff too as well, I may end up just fast forwarding right through too as well, because sometimes just listening to me babble is not that interesting, and hearing me talk at high speeds is way more interesting. All right, now, so that is T6. So I imagine the next one is going to be T8. Can I read this? This is T10. At one time I had these all in the right order, T6, T8, T10, T whatever, but not anymore. And this is T8 right here. So T8 and T6 are the screws that are on this Police 4. Yes, no problem. And the screws on here, none of them are really cranked on there. So a couple things. So maybe the old owner, Maximum Smoochie, had this cracked open and cleaned it up, and then didn't put any sort of Loctite in there or thread locker, or it just wasn't anything from the factory. All right, so here we got some scales here. Of course, they've got some pivot oil back in there, and then we've got our scales here with lots of oil in them. And let's just kind of, oh goodness, there is, oh, okay, I was gonna say, oh, there's no. And of course, we have got ourselves a little bit of a tiny washer that came off from somewhere. Didn't see where that came from. I think it might have come from inside this pivot. Well, I'll know once I get this other thing out if that's the case. In fact, the case. I think that's where it came from. All right. So let's just see. Okay. Pivot's pulled through. All right, blade is off. One side is off to be cleaned. Backspacer and your pivot washers here need to be cleaned. And there we go. This little spring and this little, so I guess this little pin and this little spring here are the real pains when you're trying to put this stuff back together. And I don't know if I will leave it in there or not. All right, so here we have got a backspacer. And should I dye the backspacer too as well? That's the other question. Oh, so all these pins are D-shaped, which is nice. They're not going to spin. All right, so here we have everything broken on down. Okay. So that is taking this all apart. So no need to watch me clean this all up. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of cleaning here on all the pieces here. And then once we get everything all cleaned up, we will go look at the old dyeing stage, and I will take you through the dyeing stage. All right, thanks so much, you guys. All right, we're back. We've got it all disassembled. Now, I tried soaking this for about half an hour, 40 minutes in some acetone, and it really didn't do much. I mean, it looked like it was taking some stuff off there, but I just think it was kind of grease and dirt. So we're off to the old races here with sandpaper. I got a little bit of automotive sandpaper, 320 grit, and I got a stick, and I've got some other finer stuff. And what we're going to do is just try to get all this paint right off there, but I'm not going to put you through the torture of me sanding paint. But needless to say, it's just going to be kind of, just rubbing it together, taking off all the paint, and then I'll put a finish on it. And then once we're all done this, we'll come right back at you. All right, then we're back here. We have got the clip pretty much done, and one piece of paint, one sandpaper here, and then I just used a little bit of this here. This is kind of a 2500 grit, and so I got most of it all off. There's some very slight paint left still kind of in there, but I think once I heat this up, it'll definitely get rid of that. And then the backside too, I tried to get most of it off, but I mean, I could be standing here for another hour here trying to get this last little inside out, and nobody's going to see that. She's going to be up against the knife, so this is, I think it looks better even with this brush finish right off the bat. And we will be heat anodizing that once we finish dyeing the scales. All right, so we have our scales here are all nice and clean, and plus our hardware too is all clean. It's all nice and shiny, as you can see. I ended up soaking it in a parts washing solution that's actually an eco parts washer that actually works really good. It lifts all the dirt, the oil, and the grease off any of these pieces, so they are pristine clean except for some oil off my fingerprints. And so we're going to be probably starting the dyeing process here pretty soon. I don't know if I'll do it here underneath the camera, because I don't need to do it on the stove, because I have been heating up my solution in the microwave, and it's so far has been hot enough and good enough to dye my scales. So I might just do it here under the camera rather than going to the stove. So, all right, I will be back soon. All right, now normally I wouldn't be doing this here at my desk with so much that can go wrong and get stained. So what I'm going to try here is I'm going to try the backspacer, the synthetic here, the sapphire blue. Even though it's blue already, I'm going to try to make it a little darker blue. And the scales I'm going to make purple. So this purple, so my mixture here has been 3/4 of a cup of vinegar, and then the rest to 2 cups of water, and then I divided that in between these two, and I used about just a small 1/4 of a cup of this. And then really here in this little small container for this RIT dye, I only used maybe same thing, very, very little, maybe a 1/4 cup of dye, less than a 1/4 cup of dye, say 1/2 of a quarter, so 1/8 of a cup of dye inside for the blue. So now they've both also been heated up in the microwave. Heated up, hello, I had a little bit of a lisp there. They've both been heated up in the microwave to above 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the magic number. You need to get hotter than that, so you don't need to be boiling. So we're going to try the scales here, and usually what I do is I dunk them at 30-second intervals, and then we'll try it from there. So scales can go inside there like so, and then the backspacer we have here can go down there on this other little thing that's not bent. So we'll try that out here for 30 seconds. Let's just see here. Hey Siri, give me a 30-second timer, please.
30 seconds, counting down.
Well, there we go. And then all we want to do is after the 30 seconds are over, we just want to see if it's good, and then you just run it under cold water to lock it in. And I can see that the sapphire blue, and then basically the longer that you leave it in the dye solution, the darker the color is going to be, or more, I guess, vibrant or darker you'd want to say. So you can see here that it is in there. And there we go. Stop. So you can see here is the blue. Not bad. I want to go a little darker though. And our purple. Oh, look at this. So this is, oh, they're turning almost the same color. That is so weird. So this blue and this purple are not reacting to the purpleness that I want it to be. So we're going to leave it in here for, let's just say both of them for a really long time. Let's try, 5 minutes. Okay. And then that should give them a really good time to soak. Oh, and I lost that one down there. That's okay. I can pick it up with my fingers, because after 5 minutes, that will be enough. No matter how well they're dyed, 5 minutes is going to be more than enough. All right, so let's set a timer for 5 minutes, and then once I'm done that, I will be back and with them rinsed off, and I'll show you what they look like after 5 minutes. All right, hey, we're back and we're finished having everything dyed. So you can see you've got the purple here, and then you've got the violet. And I mean, of course, it's a little bit more blue. And you can see here, and it's, once you see it here, I guess in person or in the sunlight, it is a very, very dark purple. It's a deep, deep purple. So it has changed the color on it. And now I guess the big thing is, let's see what it looks like when everything is all put back together. And that's what we're going to do next. All right. So now this is all locked in. As you can see, there's no dye coming off here. It's locked in. The cold water seems to lock it in. And then, Bob's your uncle. So let's put this all together, and we will take it from there. And I'll show you, hopefully next, I'll be showing you a finished product. All right, here we go. We've got the final done up here. And what we ended up doing is we ended up just doing some heat anodization to this. And I decided to leave this stuff clear. I just kind of like that little bit of a difference. Now, I just finished putting this all together, and I had to actually stop. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do a little bit more of a patina on this blade, probably a mustard patina, just to see what I can get it, because it seems a little splotchy, but I'll see if I can kind of clean it up just a little bit more. I was toying with the idea of giving it a little bit of a sand and starting over, but this hardened K390 steel is really tough to sand, and I put some sandpaper to it. It didn't look like it even, I wanted to sand the pivot up to make it a little bit smoother. It is smooth as hell right now. It just is very, very hydraulic and very, very drop shutty. And I just wanted to, and I tried to sand the pivot, and it was not touching it. So some mechanical means of sanding might do it a little bit better. And I just don't have the time, the energy, and inclination to hand sand this blade right now. So what I'll probably do is patina it a little bit more. As you can see here, this looks out. These actually are quite a bit more purple in person, and then you can see the backspacer here. It's a really dark blue backspacer, not a crazy big contrast, but just a little bit. I just think it sets the knife off a little bit nicer than just the blue that there was before. And so yeah, once I get this completely patinaed, I will probably do another picture maybe on Instagram or something like that. Come check me out on Instagram. So here is the custom Police K390 that I got from Maxim Smoochie. He called it Big Bertha, and she's definitely a big purple people eater now. So hope you enjoyed this little bit of a customization. Please, thank you so much for stopping by. Please stay safe, and don't forget to give me the subscription as well as a thumbs up. But once again, please stay safe, keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.